And let's go live. So, what are we going to do today? I need to make some cargo boxes. I've already got myself prepped up, got my ships in the place where I need to, the ones I'm going to put cargo boxes into. And I've got a total of about 15. I'm probably going to stream just making 2 of them, primarily just to show how to do it, and at the same time, maybe ramble about the state of this game, why I think this game is not going to deliver anything that it needs, and there are sound reasons for that, and they're just basic logical reasons, no insider information or anything like that, but just basic logic, what it tells me about the production of this game and the way they go about their production. So we're going to roll into a universe here, see if we can get in here. We'll go to best, see what they give us. I'd jump in with a friend or two, but I don't want to bore them with what I'm doing and get into a party with them when I'm not doing anything that's really worth their while. I'm going to make a cargo box. And let's see. Rolling, rolling, rolling. So as for the state of this game, I've already seen YouTube channels and videos that 318 is not going to produce all the stuff that's promised to produce, or I shouldn't say promised, said it was going to produce, and that's okay. I understand there's delays, there's dilemmas, but I think there's more to this than what meets the eye, and it's things that people don't really care to talk about. And so starting now, let's see, we are at, well, we'll just count down now. I'm going to see how long it takes to make at least one cargo box. And this is already with the ship fully loaded with the stuff that I need to make it with. The first box I'm going to make as I think I'm doing a single. I'm going to do a couple of singles. And I'm going to do them for ship specific. So some of them I'm going to make 2 SCUs, some of them I'm going to make 1 SCUs. As fast as I can to do this to see how long it really takes to justify, because I'm going to actually sell some of these to people that don't want to go through this process.
Welcome to the ASOS vehicle retrieval system.
I've talked to a few friends in game, about my take on whether or not this is going to come out or if it can come out, because in looking at all the things that they're promising, why do I have Aegis Eclipse here?
Please visit us again.
Did you guys wake me up at Everest? What? For heaven's sakes. Alright, boys, I gotta fly, so we'll do this from scratch.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Everest? I fell asleep at Green Glade. Alrighty then. I think I set my... Oh, that's...
Vehicle selected. Stand by.
But
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Man, part of their problems, they promise us all this new stuff that they're going to give us, and the problem with their promises is that, how good are they going to be? I said to this friend, if they have yet to make a consistently functioning elevator. Now, you say, well, elevators are used elsewhere, wherever they're messing up, which actually on the Crusader they started messing up. That's a minor, is what I was told. Yeah, it's a minor thing, but see, you gotta understand, that's a minor thing embedded in the coding of this game. And I've known a few programmers. I know a guy who is now a major shareholder and a high-level, I don't know if he's still a high-level acting officer for Atari Software Industries. He started buying Atari in the mid-'80s. He just started buying their stock like he wouldn't believe. I remember I was like, what are you doing, bro? He's like, oh man, I'm buying this stock. I said, yeah, but they're going bankrupt. He goes, yeah, but this name will never disappear. And man, he told me, hey, you should buy it. I mean, he was buying shares for like, less than $1 a share. And he bought several thousand, if not tens of thousands of dollars worth of those shares. And lo and behold, it's now a software company, but It's not the biggest company on the block, but it has returned a many-fold on the money he invested. Anywho, you know, knowing him and having the explanation from him on how computing and how software production, he worked for CR Online for many years as a programmer. He actually had a developmental machine for testing that he actually let me test some of the games like King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, make sure bugs, checking for bugs, looking for bugs and stuff. If I found a bug, I would alert him, he'd come, he'd look at it, he'd troubleshoot it, and then he'd make a note, tell the company, look, we got this bug, send it back to whoever programmed this section. They need to go in there and find out what is causing them in the netcode. Anyhow, you know, I was talking to this friend here, and I was thinking, you know, my friend, there is a reason why they're having so many problems.
Systems green.
And that reason is that there we are. Can we do that? No, we can't. Hold on here. And the reason that they're having problems is because, well, the length of time, number one, of programming this game. You have to understand, how many programmers have they gone through in the last 10 years? I'll guarantee you they have a high turnover rate, and they're not maintaining people, because from all reports, they are getting new programmers fresh out of, you know, computer engineering schools, computer programming schools, or, you know, just computer engineering degree people that know how to program and know the different languages of programming and can make things. And so you're getting multiple people working on other people's work constantly and trying to add to whatever they did. And the problem that you're going to run into that is that it's not always going to jive. And when I say that, sorry, we've got to zoom in on these things just to get to the right place. There we go. And so I was talking to him and I was thinking, you know, how do they think that they're going to be able to get an operational game with all this code on top of old code, on top of old code, on top of old code, on top of another programmer's work, on top of a different programmer's work, and on top of another programmer's work? How do they ever expect to get an operational game and not have flaws in it? And you know, he kind of responded to me and said, hey, you know, that they're developing the technology. I say, okay, great. And so I started thinking about, you know, the development of all this technology, and as to whether or not it's something that is shut that off. It's just, has it open? Has it open? Hello. And so I was. That's 3 times. Controls going wonky again. Let's see if I can go forward. Yeah, go back. Yeah, rotate. Yeah. Bear with me. For some reason, the gate is not open. All right. So I guess I gotta manually do this now. So what we got here? Crashing? Yeah, we're crashing. Okay, so we're probably 30 kane right now. But in any case, you know, the problem that they have, even more so than just the software issues they're having, because no matter what they come up with, I started thinking, what hardware do they have backing up this technology? You know, going seamlessly to another system, like Pyro, for instance. Pyro is going to be its own server cluster, if you will, the Pyro system servers. And you got to seamlessly get to those. Well, that's going to require hardware. That's going to require solid infrastructure, because if you think they're going to be able to do it with the current rented Amazon systems, it's not going to work. Amazon's not going to develop a system of hardware that's is going to adapt to this, because really, to have hardware, there we go, 30K, accept that. To have something like that requires high-end hardware. I mean, hardware that has some serious AI that can discern what's going on, what this is doing. So I started picturing it. I'm picturing now in the future, let's say 10 systems, you know, like Stanton, Pyro, Nix, add 7 more to that. And you have them in this cluster. Well, Stanton's got to be able to connect seamlessly to all 9 of those clusters. That means that the server that holds the Stanton information has to, without going through a load system, be able to communicate to the other server, which is hardware. You need and are required to have hardware that's going to back that system. And I may have to go out. Let's see if it's just going to let me back in. Generally, this is not a good idea, and it won't. So we're going to back all the way out. Bear with me. Blank screen. And I'm going to re-verify. And you know, and so I'm just picturing that, and then I started realizing, oh yeah, and they're gonna have guys with javelins, and javelins themselves are gonna be miniature servers. So you're gonna have these ships that are actually gonna take up a server. So you're gonna have these blank servers that are quote unquote capital ship servers. So whichever capital ship you pull out, you're gonna take one of those servers. And you're going to have to be able to mesh with those servers. So you got the Stanton server, and it's meshing with all 9 of the other servers, and each one of the other 9 servers are meshing with all the other 9 servers. So picture all those lines, draw all those lines going across, and it's supposed to be seamless. The hardware is not there. Amazon does not have the hardware to do that. This game is played on rented servers from Amazon, and I've looked throughout their information. They don't have any hard infrastructure regarding that. And you know, obviously they have offices. They're building a brand new office, but that's for developers. That's not going to be putting hardware in it. They're going to have a developmental center being built in the UK for how many millions? I don't know. I don't know why they're building a building when they should have just leased a building. But hey, he's got 500 million. And then I started calculating the cost of having. Because the hardware that they're going to be required is going to require some serious AI capabilities. Because it's going to have that intelligence built into it to know that, oh, this is Joe in his Javelin. He's in this cluster with Jim and Stanton. He's going to go meet, you know, Bobby over in the Pyro system. But you're going to have these guys seamlessly transfer, and one of them is a whole server ship. You know, he's going to get his 80 buddies or whatever they say it's going to be. Hey, you know, let's go over and see Joe. He's in this server that already has 100 players, and this server's got to mix with this server seamlessly. That requires serious hardware. And to be quite frank, right now, at the price of the serious AI systems that are out there that are even capable of doing that, and they're pretty much developmental machines. They're in development with this AI. It would take at least twice as much. You know, $1 billion, I'm telling you, it would take to build that infrastructure to cater to what he's saying he's going to have in this game. And I just started to think, you know, these guys should just make look, build a game, turn it out, make it a franchise, and do like what every other game is. Because look, then they're going to add persistence. Okay, that means you're going to have trash, junk code that's going to have to be repetitively generated by the computing systems that they're currently using, which are rented systems. They've got a finite amount of information. Amazon's not going to bend over. Hey, you know what, CIG? We like what you're doing. We're going to develop a whole server room for you. It's not going to happen. And they're going to start loading these servers up with junk code that has to be continually reproduced constantly, because it has to persist. And I started thinking, wow, you don't have the infrastructure for that. You just don't. And you know, I get, you know, bless their hearts, you know, they've been in the game a bit longer than me. oh, but you don't see where they've come, where they've gotten, and stuff like that. I said, well, look, there are many games that are emulating what they are doing. Yeah, but they're the first to do it. Well, the reason why other games didn't do it, like seamless transition from space station all the way down to the planet's surface, is because it takes up so much space. So they make a load screen. So they, you know what? This is not necessary. Cut it, load, boom, you're in. So they save space. They save computing space. This game, I mean, let's face it. When guys first started, playing or buying into this game, when it was just you could look at your ship, those computers that they had 10 years ago will not run what is today, which means also we're all going to have to buy new equipment. We're going to have to keep up with the Joneses if we're going to be with the Joneses. No two ways about it. So my take is that two things. Either Chris Roberts is out of control, and I'm loading in, just so you know. He's just an out-of-control developer with all kinds of ideas, and he pushes them out and says, I want it, I want it, I want it. Which would be unmanageable, somebody that's unmanageable, somebody that just, I want this in, I want that, and hey, this is a great idea, let's do this, because that's what's been happening with this game. This game does not have a solid, they portend like they do in their little videos, but the results show that this game is not solidly set on any type of gaming. That's why people are wondering, where's the gameplay? Right, where's the gameplay? They give us big videos about, look at this, we made a river. Okay, any program for any game can generate a river and design a river. There's many games that do that. You can make water. You can have depths in the water. I mean, that's nothing big. But the problem is they haven't really done anything with actual gameplay. But they're adding more and more stuff that when they do get around to the gameplay aspects of it, it's harder to enhance gameplay once you've added a bunch of stuff, because now you're like, okay, I got to do this gameplay around this, instead of making like the auxiliary stuff like a river, or look, we made a cave. Okay, any game designer can create a cave. That's not a big deal. Oh, but we can explore it. Look, you can explore caves. Yeah, but not without load screens. Okay, right. Many games put in load screens because, look, not doing so just takes up a lot of information. So you just have the cave set off in its own little sphere, and you load into that sphere, and boom. Otherwise, you have a lot of excess code. And I'm thinking, what is the capacity of the servers they're currently using to handle all this? Because these are rented servers from Amazon. If they had their own servers, that'd be one thing. But, until I see hardware, I don't believe they're serious. Because I don't think that this Chris Roberts guy is... I think he does have a lot of pipe dreams and a lot of ideas that sound good on paper, but in relation to putting them into actual work, it's the reason why they're having problems right now. They're not even talking about cargo refactor now. Yet they said 318 cargo refactoring. Oh yeah, the lasers, and look, we brought the mule out. Well, cargo refactor hasn't been mentioned about 318, and now not only that, but they're probably having so many problems with 318 that they're actually going to put in PTU 317.3. And I know you can go off. All we can do is go off what they say. And reports are that they're doing that to fix all the bugs that they're finding with 318. Well, 318 is going to be probably, if it comes out with persistence, going to be the most. Wow, look at that! How about that? Deja vu. Groundhog Day for me, baby. Ooh, again, Groundhog Day. This door showed open. Are we okay? What's going on? Are we caught up? So see, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Did you see that? On my own stream, 3 times I got thrown back and had to go through a Groundhog Day routine. And that's not the first time that's happened to me. And they can't even get this type of stuff out of this. Yet they're going to continually to pile on pearls onto this pig. And they think they're going to have a different animal, when underneath it's still a pig. Now, if they were serious about putting out a game, And they wanted to make a franchise out of this game, which they could, very easily. I would finish, you know, Pyro, Nyx, and maybe a couple more systems, and just, you know, you got a template in Stanton. You do that, quit adding all of these ancillaries that we really don't need. They do nothing for gameplay. Oh, look, you can push a trolley. Look, we can push these gurneys and stuff. Oh yeah, we'll put gurneys in the game, and guess what? You can push them and roll around. We don't need that. That has nothing to do with gameplay. What we need is good missions. We need, you know, like these. What are these? I bet you I can grip. Yeah, I can grip this. Okay. Oh, well, that's for the immersion and the realistic, the realism. Okay, I understand that. This. Oh, look at that. It's already killing me. It's already killing me. Look at that. And it's killing me. And all I had was my hands on the grip. You know. Look at that. I'm really injured too. If this were truly something that, you know, this is what they think is functioning, and they're going to add more to it without fixing that. Oh yeah, we don't need to fix or polish anything. We'll just add more pearls to the pig. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Let's see if I can get the roommate before I die.
Sees Dr. Bolin, let me know.
So I'm trying to get the roommate before I die. I'll probably die because I'm at 30%. Roommate is over here now. So. I'm gonna pass out soon. All because of that thing. Just holding my hands on it. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you have to understand. This game is a broke pig. It's broken. And I was telling this same friend that, look, man, this game will never be out until they rewrite the whole thing. Once they get everything in, then they got to rewrite the whole thing in the modern day coding. And they got to have the hardware to support it, to get it out to us, let alone us have the hardware to actually play it. I'm thinking that with what they're talking, this game in the long run is going to be at least 128K of RAM to run it. That type of memory, because you got to have all access to all that stuff, and that's going to suck a lot of RAM. Look, this thing eats every single bit of 16K of RAM, and even goes further than that right now with the trash that they've given us. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this game; it's beautiful, but I think they should, with what they have, refine what they have right now, get it out in release. And then later on, come out with a version 2. And in the interim, keep this going, and you can keep your funding going by still selling ships and by selling patches, or, if you will, extra systems. I know nobody wants to hear that, but that would be a functioning model. At least you would have a game out to where more people, even though you got 1 million or so that are bought into this game, I think it's less than 1 million, because I think there's people like me that have multiple accounts to do different things with those multiple accounts. Okay, let's see if we can get out of this system now. I don't know if we can or not. We're going to try. I don't know why they put me back at Everest. I shouldn't have been. We're on our way.
Healthcare via hassle.
But I just think
Recently ranked fifth in patient wait times.
it's either he's
Dr.
uncontrollable and keeps adding things and insists that his programmers and everybody do what he says, which I don't think he is. I think he's a smart man. I think he thinks that the best way to keep the funding going is to keep promising the moon, but instead of even giving us a lamppost, we get the inlet to the drainage, you know, to the sewage, and
Welcome to the ASOC vehicle
it's going
retrieval
to
system.
continue to be like that until
Vehicle selected. Stand by.
he reins himself
Your
in and
vehicle
says,
has
you know
been
what, let's
delivered to
first
the
put
following
game out.
location.
Make Star Citizen a name.
Please
you can
visit us
always
again.
develop the next
Goodbye.
version with all that technology, because really, the hardware is not even available to him to do what he's saying. Server meshing, they promised server, I
Your
hear,
insurance
server
claim
meshing
has been
years
sent.
ago. They're saying, oh yeah, we're going to have server meshing. And they've still yet to even produce it, or even to show it in a working model. Why? You need the hardware too. You need a server to be able to communicate server, to send somebody from that server unit, hard unit, to the server part next to it maybe, in an air-conditioned room, seamlessly. that's going to require the two servers to have their own AI to communicate. Hey, Puffin stuff is coming from Stanton to Pyro. The server says, okay, hand him over, and we'll keep him going. Because, you know, they say it's going to be like a mini game going through the wormholes. I can see how that can be. But in truth, that wormhole is going to have to be a load screen right now. Because you have to have, and not a load screen per se, they can have you trapped in a mini game until you're actually in the next server, and then poof, you come out of the wormhole, and now you're in Pyro. And coming out of the wormhole is once you get into Pyro, and it gives you now enter Pyro. And that's the only way right now that I know in the hardware world that it can be done. And I'm wondering, who's got that hardware really that can do that right now? I always forget which one I'm in. Nice, I'll take it. So that's my rambling on that affair. There's more, you know, that I've just postulated, but I'm just, you know, let's say they have 100 systems, then you got 100 servers, because each system has to have its own. What? Oh, for Pete's sakes, guys, really? See, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh yeah, now we're gonna add persistence onto that, because right now our stupid AI that's currently in here in our programming can't even tell us that the ship should be on the ground. But there it is, airborne, hanging in the air. So, I guess in my rant, I'm going to say he's not just a dumb guy. I think he thinks his model is that he has to keep promising the moon just to get people to buy ships and buy into the game. Whereas if he would just make a functioning game and get people hooked on it, the future would be his oyster. But he's thinking of the immediacy. And the immediacy is, I just need money, I just need money, I just want, not need, I want money. Because let me tell you something. There's no way in God's green earth that I think for a minute that, you know, he and his brother, Chris Roberts and his brother, aren't living high on the hog off that $500 million income. Because most of their programmers
Welcome to the
are not
ASOP
high
vehicle
dollar
retrieval
programmers
system.
like what you'll find at, you know, and I don't care about EA, but, you know, a studio like EA or anything like that, I'll guarantee you the programmers at those places, or the people that do Call of Duty and stuff like that, make way more than the programmers
Welcome to the
or
ASOP
CIG, because
vehicle retrieval system.
it's been reported, and I believe it, that he gets
Please visit us
green
again.
people in
Bye.
and gets them to buy into the dream, and the ones that leave realize that, jeez, what a mess. And I think they're under NDAs to where they can't disclose that when they leave, and maybe they get a severance, maybe they get something, but they're in an NDA to where and all these people that get hired, shoot, Evocati people are supposed to be under NDAs, but you know, you got that. So it's frustrating because I think they could make a great game right now with what they have. Make it, you know, the Star Citizen, and then version 2 can be like the upgraded version. Now, I'm not comparing it, but it's kind of like, you know, how back in the old days, how RuneScape started originally, and they went to the next version. Now they're in the third version of RuneScape. It's much more graphic. You know, it's still, you know, obviously a JGEPS game. It's ran off, you know, your desktop and stuff like that. But nonetheless,
To the ASOP vehicle
you know,
retrieval system.
or something like ARC. Because to have persistence, you know, my question was, well, how am I, Puffin stuff, going to be able to get back into the same server knowing that I dropped, say, a bag of goodies on a planet somewhere, and how am I going to get those goodies if not to the deal? We'll just shoot out.
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
I
Welcome
just-
to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the Your vehicle has been
They
delivered
can
to
do
the
something
following
like ARC,
location.
because how am I going to choose a server to get back to my server that I put my item down at if I want to go collect that item again, right? I'm not going to be able to. Because right now it's just random servers. It's whatever server Amazon decides is open for us. You know, best server, okay. You know, it means that how are you going to find the server that you drop something off if you don't have server selection? We don't even have that yet. And until we get the server selection process to where we can choose a server that we were what use is persistence? Well, now they tell us, oh, well, the system's going to automatically, put you in that server. How? They can't do that now. Amazon servers right now do not have the ability with what they have to just choose unless you have the servers noted and listed. And that's going to mean that you're going to have it listed for Pyro, for Nix, and for Stanton, obviously. So the truth of the matter is I think that they are misguided in their funding model, and they think that the best way to do it is to just keep stringing people along. And I think eventually the game will collapse under its own weight, or at least when the people stop funding. But hey, who am I to say? Because I'm one of those people that have helped fund. Not at the whale level, but at a pretty good level. I've got the gold stupid suit. I'll admit that. I've got the gold stupid suit, and I'm working my way, I guess, towards an F8. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at. But the truth of the matter is that I think that they think that they can only make money by promising the moon and the stars and everything and delivering us trash that eventually is going to collapse them, because eventually even the most diehard believers in them are going to start getting disenchanted and disillusioned. What I say is make the game, finish it, make servers like what, say, Ark Survival Evolved has, to go to whichever Ark, if you will, the different maps, if you will. To go to any one of those, you have to select it. You can either select it at a terminal, or you can select it at the beginning of the screen, or what have you. But could they do it without the load screens? I don't think so right now. Not until they got the hardware where the AI can communicate one server to the other server and seamlessly do that without causing glitches in the matrix. Because I'm telling you, you want to talk about some serious computing issues. Imagine a server that's also got to take all this guy's data information set, and from this server he's got to put it into server 1, and in the same server he's sending something to server 9, this one's sending to server 10, and the server's got a bunch of people going to all these different servers. I'm talking in the future if they got 10 maps, if they even get that far. You're gonna run into problems. It's just inevitable, and I want the game to be done, but in today's world they don't have the infrastructure to do what they're telling us they're going to do. And until I see that infrastructure, I cannot believe them anymore. Until I see that they've got, again, I'm going to repeat, they're not going to do it with Amazon servers. They won't do it with Nitrado servers. None of those companies are going to, sure, you guys have been developed for 10 years, sure, we'll develop a whole server room for you. It ain't going to happen. They have to do it. And they haven't even started. They don't even have a single server set up except for their programming desks, maybe. But they don't have the type of servers that have the type of AI that can do the seamless transfer of one person to another server. Because each system, I guarantee you, has to be its own server. Each system has to be its own server. And each server has to be able to communicate seamlessly with the other server, sending the information over without you seeing a load screen. Now they can do that with animation. I think it's plausible with animation. So say the load screen will be the animation. Maybe even the mini game of you going through the little tube, like I said before. That is still, though, a load screen, if you will. Just a real fancy load screen. And I'm not going to fault them for that. I wouldn't fault them for a load screen. I can understand that, hey, man, there's a lot of information that you got to get in, and I'm going into a whole different server that has its own wealth of information programmed into it. And then add to the fact, persistence. Well, how much junk do they drop in the server that I'm heading into versus the one I'm leaving, and vice versa, right? So you're talking about servers got to keep producing junk now? Persistence, it's a great idea. No, man, I told everybody when they were talking about persistence, I go, well, I learned what it meant. I'm like, wait a minute, they're going to let people drop junk code everywhere? You got 100 people in there and I drop 10 items? Even in a backpack, 10 items in a backpack, that's 11 items right there of junk code just got dropped. What if you got 100 people dropping stuff? And they're each dropping 10 items, let's just say. That's 1,000 items of junk code. And then cycling through that same server, load in the best server, here comes, the next wave of people coming in. Oh yeah, let's drop some stuff. Yeah, hey man, I dropped some stuff at Cave, whatever. Man, the computing power that you need to do that, the servers don't have it. And I remember my friend, well, they're writing the software. Software is not going to cover that. Software does not cover the amount of space that a server has to keep producing junk code, plus all the new stuff. Oh, just bought some new weapons. Oh, I just bought this. Oh, I'm firing this missile. I'm firing that missile. Got to buy another missile. So it's got to produce missiles that are firing. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's not feasible with the current hardware that they have. Nor is it feasible, even with our hardware, to be able to handle what they're planning on. So, you know, I'm sitting here with only a 2070 Ti, which is still, you know, at the mid-level tech of today. You know, already they're coming out with the 4000 series, but they're having problems with that. But like the 3090 Ti and stuff is pretty soon going to be passe. It's going to be the minimum that you're going to have, and 64 RAM is going to be the minimum you're going to need to really run everything they're talking about. Because I'm like, wow, man, you're going to keep all this stuff persisting. My computer's got to have it immediately available. That means my RAM's going to load up more and more and more. You know, it's not that it can't be done, but they just don't have the infrastructure to do it. I think it's a grandiose plan, but really it's time for them to tighten their belt and say, hey, man, let's be realistic. Let's put this out. But continue to work with the revenue that you generate. Continue to develop your ultimate dream. And eventually you can merge it all in together, because you'll have a whole new system that's written and programmed, and then you just merge everybody into the system. By that time, I'll probably be dead. You know, I heard one guy say, well, you know, it's possible the game will be done in 2 to 3 years. Not going to happen. I'll bet anybody it's not going to happen in 2 to 3 years. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because until I see them build their own servers, and they explain how their servers work, not, you know, any proprietary information, obviously, but the OS system, how the AI, how it's going to control, what have you, then I'll start to believe that they're close to the finish. But they will not ever be able to do it on the server network that they're currently using, or that's currently available for any game manufacturer, whether it's EA and their servers, whether it's Ark Survival Evolved and the Nitredo servers. They are not set up to do what these guys are talking about doing. And none of those companies are going to bend over backwards and suck up and throw down the billions that it's going to take to get high-level AI servers in, which really aren't in full production right now, that you're going to be required to use to make what they're trying to make. And is AI out there? Yeah, you know, there's AI, but all that stuff is, you know, developmental now. You know, they're talking about it, but it's all like we're at the cusp of it. We're just starting to get deep into it, and with what they're doing, man, for a server to seamlessly communicate to another server, let alone you got your cluster of 10, and then you got this other guy who's in a ship that is its own server. So you're going to have servers that are solely dedicated to that whale that bought himself a javelin. And as soon as he pulls his javelin, he's in a server. Boom, that server's assigned to him. And it's still got to communicate with all the other 10 servers that are also communicating with everything else, and all 10 of those servers need to be able to communicate to that javelin server. So, from a logical standpoint, it's not there yet. Their infrastructure cannot handle what they're claiming they're going to be able to do. It's just not going to happen. Not now. And that's not the poop of the game. I mean, dude, as a space flight sim, look at this. I mean, it's beautiful. Man, they could make a wonderful game right now if they would just make a concession. Instead of throwing all these high-tech pearls on this low-tech pig, because remember, this thing started programming 10 years ago. That means there's source code from 10 years ago in this game. And let me tell you something. They're not using the same computers, the same computing capacity today as they did 10 years ago. It's far surpassed that. I mean, technology is an amazing thing. It grows exponentially year by year, let alone decade by decade. I mean, shoot. I come from the days of you know, the Commodore 64. I remember when the first Apple came out, I remember the price of it was like, wow, that's an interesting price. $666.66. Wow, that's an interesting number to ask for a computer that is emblematic of an apple with a bite taken out of it. Eve. You know, I remember that stuff. See, I've got a memory of all that stuff because I remember, man, that's a lot of money for a computer. But I was always wondering, why 666? You know, why? Who knows why? You know, that's their thing. They will do what they're going to do. That said, you know, I remember, looking at what a Commodore 64 could do, let alone, how about the computing technology that supposedly, that they use to get us to the moon? You know, we've gone exponentially from there, but yet they tell us today, it's funny, they can't replicate that information. Even though it was done on 2-bit machines, they can't replicate it, the technology to get us back through the Van Allen belt that they talk about, which is a dangerous radioactive belt that, right now our equipment can't do. We're working on shielding for the equipment. Well, how'd you get the Mars lander through it? How'd you get the Apollo astronauts through it? Why don't you just use that information? Oh, well, we lost that telemetry information, and it's really difficult to replicate. What? You can't replicate 2-bit computing technology with what we have today? Interesting. Something to ponder. Kind of a little off topic, but ponder that for a moment. And there's an actual NASA video, the guy talking about the Mars project of getting the man on the Mars, what they're going through to do it, and the questions that they were asked. I don't know if they pulled it. A lot of stuff has been pulled since I last saw that off of YouTube. Let me tell you, a lot of stuff has been pulled off of YouTube, amazingly enough. But again, that's another story for another time. But I still wonder, why they don't just, use what they got, complete the game, and make a franchise. Turn this into a franchise. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Did it just go below the horizon? Come on. Yeah, it's going down below the horizon. Let's see if I can capture it up here. I doubt if I'll be able to. We'll try. Nope. Let's recalibrate. There we go. Sweet. Give me OM1, baby. But time will bear this out. Already, they're having issues with 318 because I'm telling you, persistence on their servers is going to cause havoc. It's going to cause havoc. Again, they've yet to make an elevator work consistently in Grimhex. They even had problems during the last siege of Orison with the elevators on Orison. I was killed more times by the elevators on Orison than I ever was at during the siege itself, and I got killed at the siege by a rogue player, not even by AI. And I was killed otherwise trying to get back into it. Their elevators on Orison killed me multiple times, so I just said, forget it, get me off. And as soon as I got free of the elevators, I didn't go back to the siege. I just got in my ship and said, I'm never going back to Orison. I'm not going back. I don't care what gameplay they put there. It's not worth it. I'll just go do some bunker missions. And even those are broke. I mean, they haven't even fixed the gameplay of their bunker missions, yet they keep adding more pearls to the pig. That shows me that it's either outright stupidity, which I don't think. These guys are stupid. They've made $500 million. But I think it's just a pipe dream right now, that they're just plodding along, because I think they're afraid to make any concessions with what they promised and just produce the game, versus they're going to keep dragging people along. And really, the technology probably for the servers will not be initiated. I think up to 5 years from now, and even then, who's going to invest in this? I think they have to wait for other game designers, big studios. We're talking $1 billion studios to start designing games with a similar to start helping to push the development of these server rooms. And then once that's done, then they're going to come out. By that time, guess what? They're just going to be an also-ran because the gaming industry is going to catch up to them. It will catch up to them. Even though we think that we got a proprietary game and stuff like that, and a lot of things we do, they're already making seamless transitions. They are making things to where they can do. But see, these designers also think about consoles, so they're limited to what they can do. They also think about the everyday gamer and the volume of sales they can make to be able to address everybody's computer instead of like my computer with 48. Is it 48 gigs or no 40? Yeah, 48 gigs of RAM. Okay, I got 48. Is it 48 gigs? I get confused. It's not 48K. Okay, it's not 48 megs. I think it is 48 G of RAM. Even with this and a 2070 Ti and an i7 multi-core, I'm at the bottom of running this game. Really. Everybody else, if you're lower than that, you're struggling, man. I had a 2060 Ti laptop, and man, it glitched all the time. So even our technology right now is not, that we have at our homes, is not going to be up to it. Then you're going to have these internet speeds that are going to be able to keep up with it. Which, look, man, the way the world's going, that infrastructure ain't happening. Not anytime soon, at least. I mean, you got us acting all the time with the Chinese this week asked as our president. And the Chinese, we deeded them all the ability to produce all of our chips. I mean, we used to make all the chips in the United States, and that was high-end protected proprietary information that we didn't let out to nobody. And all of a sudden, we got the Chinese, are their own words, their number one enemy, their own words, China. If you ever read the white paper from the Chinese military, which they produce it once a year, we are enemy number one. We got them producing our chips. There's a video of Ford has like at a Kentucky Motor Speedway, Kentucky Speedway. It's a trioval that's since been shut down. Ford right now has over 40,000 plus trucks sitting that aren't finished, brand new. Super Duties, no less. You're talking about trucks with a minimum price of $50K each. Minimum. That's a bottom, and those are not minimum trucks. So you're looking at one guy the guy who found it estimated that it's at least $3 billion in trucks sitting in an empty parking lot at a motor speedway because they can't get chips out of China. We used to produce those here up until the 90s, until Bill Clinton started selling us all out. And look, it's not just Democrats. George Bush, the first George Bush was complicit. Richard Nixon, complicit. Jimmy Carter, complicit. Gerald Ford, complicit. There's a few presidents that fought against this system that is deeding us out and selling us, the Western world, into basically, well, we're in debt slavery, but into full slavery. And that is, the last one was previous to, believe it or not, Trump. It was JFK. They killed JFK. The one after that was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, they wanted to kill him. They shot him because he was going to get rid of the National Education Department, all that. Well, if you get rid of the National Education Department, they can't have a federalized education system that pretty much has dumbed down Americans. American students today are about as bright as a $3 bill, okay? I mean, when you get to these people, they can't even name the capital cities of some of the main states in the United States. They can't even name all the states. They don't even know what territories are. They don't know what region of the world certain countries are in, major countries. Oh, I don't know. I mean, you can see the videos of people going out into college campuses and asking these college people basic questions like, who's the vice president of the United States? And these are the people that we're to listen to, and we think that all this technology is going to come from these folks right now. It's going to be squashed. And I feel bad because, I like this game. a lot of my friends like this game. I like to play it, but even my friends who are like, you know, they've been playing other games, you know, that I started playing it, we've had Tribes, you know, where we've gone to war in Ark, and other games, you know, been in Battlefield, you know, we're like teamed up in Battlefield, we're teamed up in games like Squad, which is a new game, Tarkov, all these games. They're like, dude, man, this game is like, what is wrong? You know, what is going on? You know, like, all the patches since I joined have been far worse than when I joined. I joined in 3.15. 3.15, everybody agrees that, wow, that was probably the best patch that we had. And I have to agree, it was. The Giggler. What's a Giggler in? He's in a Vandal Scythe. Okay.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to keep that droning. But, you know, that's my gripe. Those are my thoughts of the day that I've been having. You know, I think for sure these guys, if they wanted to, if they would just rein themselves in and acquiesce to the fact they do not have the infrastructure to do what they're promising. And you watch, 3.18 is going to be a debacle. It's going to be a debacle. Oh, will there be some good things? Yeah. You throw diamonds on a pig, and I'll tell you what, the first thing you see are the diamonds. But you keep wallowing in the mire with it, pretty soon you realize, oh my God, am I wrestling with a pig or what? And that's exactly.
Docking request initiated.
That's exactly where
Docking request denied.
CIG
Landing
has
gear
positioned
deployed.
itself and positioned us as backers and you know, people who pledged to them. So, I mean, will I continue to pledge? You know, if they got something that's worth my while and it's in game, yeah, I might pledge it. But
Landing complete.
I'm going to
Doesn't
tell
say.
my pledging now. I've given them plenty of my own pledge, you know, for them to do this and, you know, and to finish this. You know, but they need to finish it acknowledging that they're in the same technology, or they need to at least be honest, say, hey, you know what, the technology truly isn't out for us to really do what we're doing. You know, because they're not developing system hardware. They're not developing system hardware. That's why I told my friends, oh yeah, but they're developing. They're not developing the hardware it's going to require to take this. They're waiting for that hardware to appear, and even then, when it appears, what they have for their technology, they may have to rewrite just to work with the new hardware. That's just the logical thought process of what's going on here. That said, let's see if we can make a cargo box. I don't like to do it when there's other people here because I don't want them to poach my ship or to see what I'm doing and realize, oh, hey, we can go mess with this guy because it's outside the armistice zone. This guy's green. I don't think he wants to go drink it, so we'll just take it.
Engines offline.
All right. Starting now. This time, how long it takes us to make a cargo box. If I can get out of the ship. And I gotta make sure that I am here. I'm gonna make sure I transfer my imprint here. Call him Naked Boy because he's naked. That's why. Really, I made that rant because I just want that on my that's going over to my YouTube channel. So I'm sorry, my one viewer, if you had to endure that
Welcome
rant.
to the ASOP vehicle retrieval
I'm gonna show
system.
it to my buddies and just tell them this is my take. And you know, until they can prove otherwise, that is the take. Okay, so everything's here. I'm
Please
gonna make
visit
sure
us
that
again.
my respawn point is here.
Use one of our convenient self-check-in terminals and start treatment now.
See, I already did this before I logged out. Okay, this is where I'm at. See, you can see I don't have to switch it. For some reason, it put me back at Empress Harbor. So
Attention.
Let me know if there's anything I can help you
watch
with.
the timer. Let's see how long this takes. And mind you, I gotta make at least 15 of these. And this ship is
Welcome
already loaded with
to the
items I
ASOP
want for
vehicle
my
retrieval
SC
system.
box.
Vehicle
destroying.
selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following game.
Enfield Aerospace. All systems online.
Size is still out there. I don't know if he's going in or coming out, but we'll figure it out.
Engines online.
Just to make sure that I got all that right. Actually, this is one of my favorite ships. I really like this ship. I do. So that's a 1 SCU box with the stuff right there in the vehicle's cargo hold. To make a 2 SCU, you're going to need 2 helmets, 2 backpacks, and 2 Pembroke suits. So it's all got to be this large stuff. And you'll get a 2 SCU box out of that. So, that said, we're done there. Let's fly out. Normally I don't like to do this with another ship in the vicinity. I came here because normally most people don't come here.
You are clear to launch.
This guy is here. He's still in his ship, I think, right? Yep, the Bigler. He's still in his ship. So the question is what is he doing in his ship? What's he doing out there?
Thank you, and please visit again.
See, I liked it before all this change. So I used to do this. There was asteroids out here that you could hide behind, park your ship, out of sight, out of mind. But now, not so. So this area used to be full of asteroids. I like to get out of range out of these guys. And when you know you got another guy there, the key is this should be out of range. Try and use the sign here.
Weapons offline.
Power the whole beast down. Man, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Tron, but man, if this were a real Tron guy, I'd really feel bad. Sorry, buddy. Time to say goodbye. I know, it hurts. It hurts. I know. Next time, though, okay? Next time. No, that's okay. You're gonna be resurrected. You'll come back. So I'm going to do something unique too. I want to try and fit 2 1SCU boxes into my CX-8 Expedition. That's just my regular CX-8. I think that came with the Carrack. And I got one that I pledged because it had the cool paint. Invictus paint. Oh, what? Man, last thing I remember, I was backing out my ship and then I was here. What? Oh, that ever so big bum. Okay, now we're going to drop these items. Oh, look, they gave me a Skinny Boy suit. I'll do Skinny Boy suit. I'm going to put this. Yep. I'll take that just in case. It's, sometimes these things, they act as if they didn't. I didn't put a cartridge in when I put it back in my inventory, but we'll see.
Welcome to the ASOC Vehicle Retrieval System.
So the first ship I want to load up.
Welcome to the ASOC Vehicle Retrieval System.
This
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Now I press 3 even though I know it's 4 because I've had people follow me and it's been costly. So when they see the elevator go to 3, now I'm going to 4. So if they're a hijacker, they go to the elevator that you leave will show the floor that you went to or the hangar that you went to. Whoa! Woo! Good buddy Fat Nick must have bagged this beast.
Anthem Aerospace. All systems online.
Make sure I have this with me too. Let's keep this in the ship. So this ship will not be recalled anymore because it's going to have a cargo box with it. And that's the one thing you got to remember when ships you do this to, and never recall them because you have those boxes and the box will disappear. Let's see if we can go make something happen here.
You are clear to launch.
Thank you.
Landing gear raised.
Thank you, and please visit again.
This is actually the fun part. box. That's a single. We're gonna make one more single for this ship. See if Scytheboy is still here. Looks like he left the premises. That's a good thing. Is he still there? Yes, Scythe is still there.
Have
Oh no, that's a Victor Titan. There's the Scythe.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Oh no, it's a Reliant Core. Jeez, look at all these ships that are showing.
Docking initiated. Docking denied. Landing gear deployed. So these are the items. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer these back to here. So there's one. I'm hoping two will fit in this spot. And then I'll have plenty of room, and I'll have basically the equivalent of a 2 SCU box. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go back out right now. Actually, I'm going to probably end the stream, only because it's just boring. I'm just going to be doing this over and over again. But I just wanted to get a timeline on how long it took to get it done. All miscellaneous ramblings aside. Anybody who sees this on YouTube and the one viewer out there on Twitch, I don't think that I'm against this game by any means. Even what they have now, I mean, and even though I have not only the idiot guns, the idiot hat, monocle, and the idiot gold suit, I'm not lamenting
Welcome
that by any
to the
means. I
ASOP
just-
vehicle retrieval system.
You know, to me, it's just a great, fun game to play. And we're going to claim this Pisces here. So it'll be another 40 seconds till I can go out
Your
again.
insurance claim has been sent.
And when I go out again, I will probably,
Please visit us again.
I'll just take all this
Goodbye.
stuff off. Put it in here. Be ready to go again. Rinse and repeat. So everything's there. And with that, that is me making a cargo box and getting a bunch of CIG bullshit off my chest. You know,